The Tennessee Titans must get Cam Ward some help at wide receiver, and I'm going to show you who the perfect pairings would be early in the draft on today's film breakdown from Tic Tac Titans. Titans fans, welcome into another film breakdown from Tic Tac Titans, your home for Tennessee Titans X's and O's. I am your host, Tyler Rowland, 25 years a Tennessee Titans fanatic. I've covered the team for USA Today, Sports Illustrated, and hosted the #1 Tennessee Titans podcast, Locked on Titans, for 6 seasons. On today's film breakdown, we're going to look at some wide receivers early in the draft that I think would be a perfect pairing with Cam Ward, the Tennessee Titans quarterback of the future. We're going to talk about Luther Burton. We're going to talk about Emeka Egbuka. We're going to talk about Kyle Williams and Jayden Higgens. I'm going to go over some of my other favorite options for the Titans on day 2 as well, but we're going to go over scouting reports, strengths and weaknesses, role within the Tennessee Titans offense, and I'm going to look at the tape to show you guys exactly what makes each prospect such a great fit. Before we dive into today's film breakdown, do want to remind you, make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed for year-round free Tennessee Titans film content. Make sure that you throw a thumbs up on the video. Make sure that you throw a tighten up down in the chat. Do want to let you guys know, I got some more Cam Ward content coming your guys' way here as the draft happens. So a lot of content in the next few weeks with the draft prospects. Again, make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. This is your home for Tennessee Titans film content. But with that being said, as we always do, let's step in the film room. So the first guy that we're going to look at is Luther Burton. Now, both of the first two guys we talk about here, Luther Burton and Emeka Egbuka, could be first-round picks. That absolutely could be the case. In my opinion, they have first-round talent. I have Luther Burton as my wide receiver 2 in this draft class behind Tedero and McMillan. And then I have Emeka Egbuka as my wide receiver 3, which means I have Matthew Golden as my wide receiver 4. That's another conversation for another time. But Luther Burton is a guy who I think realistically could fall to the second round. He is 6 foot, 206 pounds, 21.6 years old, so still a young prospect that can develop. He is an absolute playmaker. That's the best way I can describe it. You get the ball in his hands, he's going to make something happen down the field. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to break a tackle, and he has great speed, and it's apparent on the film, and I'm going to show you some great examples. And the yards after catch ability, I think, is what really makes Luther Burton a special playmaker. So the speed and the yards after catch instincts combined makes him a great playmaker at wide receiver. He has excellent hands as well. He's able to make contested catches and adjust to footballs and things like that. He does not run incredible routes, and he doesn't have a very diverse route tree. His production was cut basically in half from his previous year at Missouri to his final year at Missouri, and there are not whispers, quite frankly, loud noise about the character issues with Luther Burton. Is he a guy dedicated to football? Is he going to take the time to work hard enough to develop the parts of his game that need to improve, like the route running and the savvy there? He can't just rely on the natural talent anymore. Regardless of that, I think the talent is through the roof, so I would take a shot on Luther Burton for the Titans. I think he could be a day one guy who plays in the slot and plays kind of a gadget role. The Titans can get him involved in creative things. And I think long-term, he is the full-time slot for the Titans and a long-term Z. I think he has the potential, though, to be a #1 wide receiver on an NFL team. So I think Burton would be a great risk for the Titans. And I think being a rebuilding team, taking a risk on a guy like Luther Burton, who could end up being a blue chip talent that slides to you at 35, I think that's the exact type of moves that the Titans make. And Mike Borgonzi is a guy who came from Kansas City, the exact type of move that the Kansas City Chiefs would make. So with that in mind, again, let's step into the film room. Again, the #1 thing that stands out about Luther Burton is he is just a disgusting playmaker. Like, he just finds a way. This is a big moment in a big game against South Carolina. They're in man coverage against him, and the Titans have struggled in man coverage for years. Mike Vrabel, Brian Callahan, doesn't matter. They have struggled. So this is a play that the Titans like to run when they do run man coverage, and Calvin Ridley had a great play against the Detroit Lions on this exact play right here. So you run a curl on the outside, and then they're going to run a slot fade for Burton. Shake, shake, shake. Down the sideline. And this is what I mean when I say speed. And that I believe he has the potential to run routes. Look at the little split right there. That's called a split release. Bang. Split. You can go inside. You can go outside. Now he's got the cornerback head up over him, and he can win to the outside, and then he wins with speed. Look, he's winning with speed. The guy's holding him. And look at the catch. Boom. And not only the catch, but then he does something special. Makes a man miss and scores a touchdown in a huge moment. Again, he's just a playmaker. He just makes special plays. And I know he's not refined and there's character issues, but it's high-level talent, man. It's just high-level talent. Boom. Little basket catch. Make a guy miss. Fading away. Skirt. Touchdown. Look, surrender Cobra from the South Carolina fan. Okay. Look, I admit the quality of this one is rough, but I had to show you. Luther Burton right here. And this fits so perfectly with the Titans. Look at this quick little sit route. Bam. Sit. Get the ball out. Doesn't that look like something that could be used in an RPO? A little quick stick route in an RPO that Cam Ward would be able to execute. And when I say that Luther Burton is a playmaker and he just does special stuff, watch this. Skirt. Whoop. I mean, it's like, what a playmaker. With Cam Ward being so good at the RPO game and the quick throws, getting a guy like Luther Burton and pairing him with Cam Ward, man, it would be such an elite pairing. See ya. The Titans need some of this, man. The Titans need this in their offense. Here he comes. See ya. Speed. Whoop. Instincts. Wiggle. Power. All right, so you want to see another split release from Luther Burton? Again, I think he has a ton of potential to be a great route runner with his suddenness, with his speed, with his ability. Just has to be taught, and I'm willing to take that risk and build this 21-year-old up to be a dominant wide receiver in the NFL and a playmaker. But we have Luther Burton down at the bottom of the screen right here. He is just going to do another split release. He's going to come out, boom, both feet in the ground, even, and then he's going to get to the sideline on the fade route. And again, for a guy his size, he just makes some great adjustments to the football. Look at the spin back. Look at that. Bang. And that swagger, man. The Titans need this. The Titans need this kind of swagger. Bam. Great adjustment. Great catch. Love it. Yeah, give me some of this with Cam Ward. So more speed on display here from Luther Burton. He's in the slot right here. Just going to come up on the receiver and run the fade route down the sideline. And he's just got electric speed, man. And when he gets loose vertically, so much separation. Terrible throw by Brady Cook, who I have to tell you, I'm not high on Brady Cook in the NFL. But regardless of a bad throw, watch what Burton does to his man here. Another split. Bam. Both feet in the ground at the same time. Split release. I can go inside, I can go outside. And now I got you beat. Just roast him. Absolutely roast him. That's a touchdown with Cam Ward. Touchdown Titans, man. Like, the Titans need some of that in the slot. Him and Ridley? Come on, man. All right, now I want to take a look at a Mecha Eggbuka out of Ohio State. 6 foot, 202 pounds, 22 and a half years old. Incredible route runner. Great savvy, great understanding of where to sit down in zone coverage, how to tempo his routes to get around people. And we see examples of that early on when we get into the tape. He's got great hands. He just does not drop the football. Tough situations, physical catches over the middle. He's going to catch the ball. An incredible blocker. He's dedicated to the team. Ohio State would literally use him as a puller from the backside like a tight end to lead up through the hole or to seal the edge on a bounce out. It's crazy how they would use him almost as a pseudo tight end. And I think in Brian Callahan's offense, replacing a guy like Tyler Boyd in an offense that wants to be 3 wide receiver, having a wide receiver like a Mecha Eggbuka. Imagine if you got the blocking of Nick Westbrook-Akine, but you got it with a first-round talent wide receiver like a Mecha Eggbuka. I think that really does make a difference. Tremendous football character. This is a football-first guy. Super hard worker, super dedicated. He just doesn't have elite athletic traits. The straight line speed, good 40 time, 4.4, but the straight line speed is not elite. The suddenness, the burst, the explosiveness, just not elite. And he is a good route runner, but sometimes when people are overly physical with him on his routes, he can kind of get knocked off. Regardless, I think he's a first-round talent. He should go in the first round, but if he is there at 35, the Titans simply have to take him, depending on the other options, of course. I would go Luther Burton, but I think the Titans would go Emeka Egbuka for the high floor. He's just going to be a day one starter, a day one contributor, someone you can count on way more than a guy like Luther Burton who needs a ton of development. Egbuka is ready to go right now. He's a polished player. He's your long-term wide receiver 2 within an offense. He doesn't have the wide receiver 1 upside of a guy like Luther Burton, but I think for the Titans right now, if they want to go the safe route, if he's there, it would still be a home run pick no matter what. He can play in the slot from day one and be that physical slot that we talked about, but he can also play outside, in my opinion, like he did at Ohio State in 2 wide receiver sets. So I don't think that's much of an issue with the Titans wanting to be heavy 3 wide receiver sets and what Brian Callahan wants to do in a spread West Coast offense. But regardless, I think Burton or Egbuka would be perfect, and let's take a look at what the tape shows for Emeka Egbuka. This play from Emeka Egbuka shows it all. It shows everything he brings to the table right here. He's in the slot right here, going to run the vertical route in the national championship against the Oregon Ducks. Go Bucks, baby. OHIO. It's everything. So he's going to take the route vertically, but what he does is he sells the route. He doesn't come out full speed. He tempos his route. He's at just probably, 75, 80 right here. And what he does is he stems inside a little bit, and it moves the defender inside just a touch, and then he kicks it vertically. And he is in the perfect place that despite these safeties and the guy who runs with him, he is in the perfect spot to get the ball, and he makes a catch in traffic. He has the speed to get open. Yeah, he doesn't have elite physical traits, but the speed right here. Look, they're right here, and he outraces all of these guys to this spot. So he's got enough speed. I'm not worried about Emeka Egbuka not being fast enough. He may not be sudden and quick and explosive, but he has enough speed to be a day one contributor. Good, very good wide receiver. It's like Jackson Smith-Njigba. You know what I mean? Very similar. Yeah, he's not an elite athlete, but the route running, the timing, the savvy. Watch how he stems the defender. Slow inside. Boom, and now I'm forward. Bang. You can see it right there at about the 43-yard line when he really inside, and now I'm straight vertical. And I outrace all of you guys to the spot and catch in traffic. Clutch play, big moment. I mean, that's everything you get from Emeka Egbuka right there. Like, he can do all of that. Everything else is icing on the cake. Because we see the route running here, and Emeka is down in the slot right here. And he's going to just sift his way through the traffic with good tempo and understanding and find the hole. Right here, look how he sifts through all these people smoothly. Never clunked up, never stopped. Around, through. Great route runner, great understanding, can sit in the zone. Sifts through the traffic, always poised. You see him come around here. Slide underneath. Now I see how he slid his shoulder to get through. And separation. Still separating. Good catch away from his body with strong hands. Good game. All right, we're back to the national championship game. This is prime. This is prime Emeka Egbuka right here. All right, look at this route right here. Again, that tight end roll, that pseudo tight end roll, is going to come out here, cut inside, and he fools multiple ducks to get inside of him. Outside. Back in. cut up field, big gain. And look, I don't think that he's a yards after catch dynamo by any means, but he's good enough to get good yards after catch ability. So come out here, shimmy to take this guy outside, and then the speed to cut in front of this secondary guy, catch the ball, get upfield. It's a critical third down in a national championship game, and who comes up big with the route running ability to separate, make the big play, and get upfield? It's a Mecha Eggbuka. As he will. He's clutch, man. He is a clutch player. More route running. Look at that. Another critical third down. This is the first game against Oregon that Ohio State lost. But he comes in here, zip route, back outside, and on a 3rd and short. The Titans need guys who can win against man coverage and win in these short yarded situations. And when you have Cam Ward, who has a great quick release, winning on these should be automatic. Look at that. He looks like an ice skater. He looks like an ice skater. You see a great angle of it right here in the end zone view. Look how, boom. Right there. Look how low he is. And then, boom, shoots out. First down. Emeka Egbuka, again, professional, polished wide receiver, tough as nails, team player, great football character. He comes in on a slant right here and gets nailed. But watch the tough physical catch, man. Breaks in, nailed. Bam. Still powers through. Not only makes the catch, but powers through. Get fired up on that, man. All right, Kyle Williams is the next guy that we're going to talk about here. Kyle Williams is kind of a fan favorite for the Titans fan base. I have noticed, at least online, that's the chatter. And Kyle Williams is much more likely to be available at 35, although I would say that 35 may be a touch too rich. But if the Titans can't get a trade down, if the Titans were to trade down to 40, 42, somewhere like that and get Kyle Williams and pick up a 3rd round pick, it's a slam dunk. But if they're unable to do that and they want to get a wide receiver, Kyle Williams at 35, I wouldn't be furious, I guess. But he's 5'10", 190 pounds. So a little bit smaller than the last two guys we've talked about. 22.4 years old. Great releases. There are different releases. And look, I'm no wide receiver expert or anything, but there are different kinds of releases. A double tap. You have a split. There's the diamond release everybody talks about. There's a slide release. There's like 5 or 6, probably way more if you're an NFL wide receiver. But those are the main ones that you hear about. And he could do pretty much all of them. Kyle Williams is great at the line of scrimmage, getting off press coverage with those releases. That's going to be important at the next level. Not a lot of college players come out good at release packages and dealing with press coverage. So that's great. The speed is incredible. And you're going to see it on the film. Great speed. The yards after catch ability for a guy who's slim the way he is really good at forcing missed tackles. Really good at it. And he also has the connection to Cam Ward. They played together last year at Washington State together. If Kyle Williams is drafted, I will be doing a film video on their connection. But that has to matter to the coaching staff. He's great on screens. Excellent on screen passes. Like just absolutely diabolical. He's a demon on screens. We're going to see some of them, but getting the ball out of Cam's hands quick. He's good on the RPO game. He's good with the arm angles. Getting the ball out of his hands quickly to a guy like Kyle Williams who can capitalize in those situations. Great fit, in my opinion. The size is an issue. He is small. His strength, he's a guy who can get pushed off his routes. I don't think he's going to be incredible in contested catch point situations at the next level when NFL defensive backs are bigger and stronger and just as fast. He doesn't have incredible explosiveness and suddenness like a guy like Luther Burton does, but he has more than a guy like Emeka Egbuka, in my opinion. I think he could be a day one starter, a day one contributor. He's probably going to be a guy who plays in the slot early on, but I think he can be a long-term wide receiver 2 in an offense, and he can play slot, and I think he can play some Z on the outside. Let's dive into his tape. So Kyle Williams, again, the number one thing that stands out to me is his release package at the line of scrimmage. It is incredible. We talked a little bit about releases earlier when we talked about Luther Burton's split release. Kyle Williams has all of them. You want the foot fire or the double tap, you know what I mean? Or you want the split release. You want the diamond where you go 3 steps outside and then cut inside. You want the slide. You want whatever. He basically can do anything, and that's going to help him so much at the NFL level. And we see it on display right here. He's down at the bottom of the screen. He's just going to get off the press and then get down the sideline, and not only being able to release, but the speed to win after you create the advantage. Can you forward the advantage? Can you take advantage of the advantage? And Kyle Williams creates advantage, and he can take advantage of it as well, and he can keep his wits about him in contested situations to win, even though he's only 5'10", 190 pounds. Boom. Double taps him, then wins with speed, and the ball is even underthrown. Realistically, the ball is underthrown. My guy Mateen, man. But comes out here, and he does the double tap. 1, 2, and then gets to the outside. So quick, so fast, the way he fires his feet. Boom. And then wins with speed. If that's a better throw, it's an easier catch, but he makes it anyway. All right, so that was Kyle Williams winning vertically. Now I want to show Kyle Williams winning horizontally. What he does is he absolutely destroys this cornerback with this out route. He's at the top of the screen, obviously, against Boise State. But what he's going to do is he's going to dart inside, and he's going to get the cornerback coming inside, losing leverage, and then he's going to cut him outside. And, man, the way that he goes nearly full speed while he breaks and while he cuts, it's really awesome. Watch him just roast this guy. Boom. Woo. Wide open. Gets upfield. Boom. Look at that, man. Going inside. Boom. Got it. Beautiful. Good catch away from his body with hands. Get upfield. Now we're going to have Kyle Williams at the bottom of the screen. We saw him win with a vertical route, a fade. Then we saw him win with an out route. Now we're going to see him win with a post route. Not beaten press this time, but the speed. Watch him shake the cornerback to the outside and then cut inside on the post. The route running ability and the speed, the release package. It's why Kyle Williams is so hyped up right now. There's no doubt about it. He definitely brings a lot to the table despite being 5'10", 190. Ooh. Look at that. Look at that stem. Bang. Bang. Hit the outside foot. Turns the defensive back's hips. Now you got him roasted and toasted. See you in the end zone, buddy. And Cam Ward, he's hitting these with Kyle Williams. Absolutely. So I see it as a great fit. Great catch. Touchdown. So we have talked about him as a route runner, down the field, vertical, out route, post route. But he's awesome on screens. And this is another reason why Kyle Williams, again, would be a great fit because he's so good on these screens. He forces a ton of missed tackles. And I keep bringing it up, but a guy his size to break tackles the way that he does on screens, it's awesome. But on this one, he wins with the speed. So quick screen right here, Kyle Williams. Watch the man work. Got it. Speed time. Good job by 79. I mean, that is juice right there. That's juice. Look at him burn 31. 31's pursuit angle. So bad. Roasted and toasted, man. Crazy. Look at that. Afterburners. Just a different level of speed than other people on the field. And the Titans sure do need speed. That's a fact. This time, though, there is a broken tackle. This one is hilarious. Like, he's so physical for a guy his size on these yards after catch opportunities. Now, I never think that he's going to be someone jumping over top and mossing people and being real physical, and he's probably going to get pushed off his routes. It reminds me of, like, Devontae Smith. I'm not saying the talent level is the same, but Devontae Smith, slim guy who can win with his routes, savvy, sits in the zones, create separation. I think it could be similar to that. I saw someone say Santana Moss somewhere. I thought that was interesting. But quick screen right here for Kyle Williams. Watch him break the tackle immediately. Get off me. I am going to the end zone. So it's not just that he is physical enough to break through that tackle, but then he has the speed to outrace the rest of the defense despite coming out of the tackle. And not only that, but this was all created off just a little screen. A screen at 16 yards out with a broken tackle and deadly speed turns into a touchdown. I'm just saying, I'd love a good reunion. Get off me. Paint job. All right, Jayden Higgens is the next guy. And I think Higgins is a guy that could be, if the Titans trade back, I don't think that Higgins would be an option at 35, personally. But if the Titans trade back 40, 42, 45, 50 even, I think Higgins could be in play from 50 to 70. And the Titans maybe even could take an edge if they trade back in round 2 and then follow it up if they get like 40 and 71 from the Saints. You take Jayden Higgens at 71. Higgins is a totally different wide receiver than what we've talked about so far. All of the guys we've talked about have been slot guys who probably maybe could play a little bit of Z on the outside, but probably a slot. Higgins is 6'4", 215 pounds. He's 22 and a half years old. Incredible size, obviously. He is a smooth route runner. For a guy his size, he really runs smooth routes. It's not clunky. It's not junked up. He's got quick feet. He can move them. And he's really good with yards after catch situations for a guy his size as well. It's kind of surprising the way he barrels forward on some of these plays that I'm going to show you. He is good in contested catch situations because he uses his size. But I think that he's better in short and intermediate situations using his length to catch the ball away from his body than he is deep. I don't think that he plays with a ton of power. For a guy that's 215, he doesn't power through contact on his routes. I don't think that he bullies people off of spots in contested catch situations. He just ends up using his length to win the matchup. A lot of people talk about him catching the ball away from his frame, like his arms extended. You want to high point the ball. You want to reach away from your frame. You don't want to be a body catcher and let it come to you and basket catch and things like that. And a lot of his wins that I saw on tape, when he won contested situations, he was basket catching or he was body catching. I didn't see a lot of deep down the field high pointing the ball away from his frame. Maybe it's just the games that I watched. It wasn't there and it just happened to be a coincidence, but he catches the ball away from his body in short and intermediate situations where I think he'll thrive at the NFL level. But vertically, going down the field, down the boundary, catching the ball away from his frame in high point situations, I don't necessarily think he's going to be that good in those. So I think he could be a day one starter as your X wide receiver. He can get off press and all of that, but he has long-term versatility. I think he could be a big slot wide receiver. They used him in the slot quite a bit at Iowa State. I think he could even play a little bit of Z if you wanted to get him in motion. I think he's athletic enough to do that. I would compare Jayden Higgens to Michael Pittman Jr. of the Indianapolis Colts. If you've ever watched him on tape, big size, length, not an overly physical guy. Alec Pierce is the much better vertical guy in Indianapolis, and they use Michael Pittman on more of the intermediate and short stuff, which I think is fine for an X wide receiver when you have a speed Z wide receiver like Calvin Ridley. I think that works fine. So if the Titans move back a little bit, Jayden Higgens is a guy I really like, and I'll show you why right now. Jayden Higgens out of Iowa State. Again, a totally different type of player than what we've looked at so far. 6'4". I love what he brings to the table if the Titans are able to trade back. So you have him down at the bottom of the screen here. Isolated, one-on-one, press coverage. He's a physical X. This is what you're supposed to be able to do, okay? He's going to stack him here and then get vertical. He's able to release off the line of scrimmage because he has quick feet for a guy his size. And again, he wins contested catch situations. He has won consistently in contested situations in college. Look, that's a third and long. A third and long. Roast him at the line of scrimmage. Get past. Shoulders past him. Not elite separation. Remember, this isn't a guy that I think is going to win vertically consistently. I think he's going to do better work intermediate and short. But to his credit, he won in these contested situations. Now, as you'll see from this angle, as I talked about, though, basket catch. Now, that's best for that situation, but just you don't see him go up and high point the ball. There's a fade in the end zone during the season where he like jumped up and then basket caught it like that instead of putting his hands in the air to high point it, even though he was in front of the defender. Little stuff like that makes me wonder. We see it here too. He's at the bottom of the screen, and he's just going to run a fade to the sideline. In this game, man, they pressed right at the line of scrimmage. Watch him stack him there. And it's contested, but look, guess who's going to find a way to win with an acrobatic catch on the sideline and get a foot in? Look at that. That's a great catch. Beginning, I don't see him high point on film a lot, but if you're going to win, I mean, who cares what I have to say? He's getting pulled down the sideline. It's a great catch right there. That is a great catch. So, a guy 6'4", 215 pounds, you know, he can win with his size. He can do that. Now, here's what I really like, though, and why I think he's such a great fit for the Titans. You have him right here. And the Titans run a ton of what I would call targeted defender routes against zone coverage. You're trying to target one single defender and either get him to bite up, go back, bite out, and then slide someone past him. The Titans do a ton of it, okay? And I think that Higgins, because of his light feet and his route running ability, I think even at his size, he can execute these in-breaking routes the Titans run and these quick out routes the Titans run to target an isolated defender like this. If it was, you know, is it going to be cover 2? Is it going to be bailout? If they bail out, then you hit the out route. If they jump up, then you hit the vertical route down the sideline. Things like that where you're targeting one defender and making a decision. I think Cam Ward's going to do a ton of that, and I think Higgins has the route running ability to be on time to do those things. And here he comes in, zone coverage, I think it's cover 3, and he runs kind of a glance route, a slant route, an in route, whatever you want to call it, an in breaker here, and he catches the ball in the middle of the zone. Look at him break behind right here. He's going to find the hole and then get upfield. And this is exactly the kind of stuff against zone coverage. Look, zone, 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 zone. You got one right there, your middle right here, and he is just going to find his way through this, catch it, and turn upfield. I think this is the kind of stuff the Titans are going to do a ton of with Cam Ward. Quick throws over the middle, in between the zone. They did it last year. It hits him, turns upfield. And again, for a guy his size, yards after catch ability, he's pointing at defenders down the field, fighting with his helmet off for more yards. He really gives you a lot. I would be really excited about Jayden Higgens as a long-term wide receiver too, but a physical X. Think kind of a lesser version of T. Higgins is what I would say. But Michael Pittman Jr. from the Indianapolis Colts is the guy I really compare him to. Really, really good on slants, which the Titans are a West Coast spread system. They're going to run a ton of slant routes. If Brian Callahan does what I think he wants to do, I guess. And he's going to come in here and slant in. And there are so many quick slants on his film. I can only show you guys so many, but trust me when I tell you slant, 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 slant all over. Slants for touchdowns and short yardage and red zone. Like, this is a guy who, with his body size, can box out and play like a power forward, and he catches better away from his body in short yardage than he does vertically, in my opinion. So really good in these short yardage situations as a guy like Michael Pittman Jr. from the Indianapolis Colts is. You know, when you're physical and you can run routes like this, you're going to be really good in short yardage one-on-one situations because you're just really big and you're just as fleet of foot as the smaller guy, but you're way bigger. So here again, slant inside. And you see him square him up and then win inside. Square him up. Split feet. Break inside and the little push. Hey, the NFL, and look, it's 4th and short. Just to accentuate my point here, it's 4th and short. So a quick win from a big physical wide receiver with quick feet, critical. I think Higgins would be a great fit for Cam Ward on these. And look, again, yards after catch ability for a guy his size. I mean, he really reminds me of Michael Pittman, man. It kind of blows my mind. Here, this is a little bit different. You have Higgins as the inside man in the slot. Again, I think he could be a versatile weapon. I think he could play Z and come in motion if you need him. Because he's like a Dollar General Tetaroa McMillan, a guy with big size and good smooth runner. He just doesn't have the elite, you know, speed and explosiveness of a McMillan necessarily, but such a good route runner. He comes out here and he's running just a sit down, and you got to read the zone here. If the guy stays inside, you could sit down right away. If not, you need to kind of bend it away from him, get in between these two zone defenders right here, and that's exactly what he does. He has good understanding of how to sit down in the middle of zones. It's man coverage that I'm a bit worried about him winning. Can he win with that physicality? Can he high point the ball more? Do you see how he caught that pass? Not with his hands like a Mecha Eggbuka or Luther Burton or Kyle Williams, body catch. So, can he win against man coverage when he uses his body to catch because he doesn't extend and catch away from his frame enough? Be interesting, but a little more yards after catch. So, again, we saw winning in contested catch situations vertically down the sideline. We saw a slant with a big win and a yards after catch. We saw an in route cutting in between the zones with a yards after catch win. And then we see right here on a critical third down, an out route sitting down in the zone, a stick route for a big first down. Again, I like Higgins a lot for the Titans, especially in a trade down if they have to drop back into the 40s or 50s. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's film breakdown from Tic Tac Titans. Went over Burton, Egbuka, who I think could be options for the Titans at 35, and then Williams and Higgins, who I think could also be day two options. Do want to go over a few honorable mentions here. I don't have all the time in the world to break down every player in the entire draft class on tape for you guys, but there are some other guys who I do like. Alec Aomanor out of Stanford is a big physical wide receiver. He's 6'2", prototypical X receiver, kind of like Higgins. Not exactly the same. I don't think he has the movement that Higgins does, but he's more physical than Higgins. Jack Besh from TCU, 6'1", so he's a bigger guy. He runs good routes. He's smooth. I think he could be a versatile weapon because of his size and his route running ability. Jalen Noel, the other wide receiver from Iowa State, he's smaller. He's 5'11", I do believe. He is sort of like a Deebo Samuel light. He wins with speed. He's great after the catch, low center of gravity, can break through tackles at 5'10". He's solidly built. He's not like thin, but not as precise of a route runner. Doesn't play through contact incredibly well through his routes. So those things would have to get cleaned up, but he's a playmaker. So maybe the Titans would want that type of player. And Savion Williams is the last guy I want to mention. 6'3", 220 pounds out of TCU. This guy is a running back, wide receiver combination. Incredible playmaker. He needs a lot of development in terms of his route running ability, but he shows the understanding of how to run proper routes. He just hasn't run a ton of them. I think he needs more development there. He's an older prospect, 23 years old. So it's like, hey, how much development are we going to get? But he's 6'3", 220 pounds and runs blazing fast. He is incredible in contested catch situations. Like incredible. He'll jump over guys and make catches. It's incredible. So if you can polish Savion Williams up, you would have a elite, like if there's anybody in this draft class who could turn into like a freakazoid best wide receiver in the NFL, to me, it's Savion Williams. It would just take a lot of development, but it's in there. It's in there. So maybe the Titans fall back even later and take a chance on that. I doubt it. I don't think Savion Williams is a Titans type, but a kid can dream, right? A kid can dream. But that's going to do it for today's breakdown on wide receivers. I'm working as hard as I can on the edge rushers, try to get that done. I'm a busy man, folks. I ain't going to lie. So it's tough out here in these streets. But I'm also going to have a Cam Ward full scouting report video out as soon as he's drafted on Thursday night. It's going to be a little bit of a refresher from the long videos we made a couple of weeks ago about Cam Ward, but hoping to get Edge out, hoping to get the Cam Ward full scouting report video that will be out at 8 o'clock as soon as Cam Ward's drafted on Thursday night. Next week, after we know who the Titans have drafted, just like last year, I'll have breakdowns on basically every prospect, some group videos, stuff like that. Get subscribed, stay subscribed. Free film content on the Tennessee Titans. Do you want to be the smartest fan possible? Do you want to go past the talking points and the prognostications? And do you want to dive into the actual film? What actually happens on the film and who these guys are? You can do it for free right here. Tic Tac Titans. So get subscribed, stay subscribed. That's going to do it for me today, folks. I'm your host, Tyler Rowland. And as I tell you, every episode, tighten up.